Welcome back. Today in this session, we will be discussing about principles of design. In last session, we discussed about two principles of design, balance and proximity. In this session, we will be discussing about remaining principles of design, repetition, space, contrast. So contrast. Contrast is the juxtaposition, just opposing elements, opposite colors, opposite content, opposite value is what is juxtaposition is. So we can have different direction, horizontal, vertical, light to dark. We can have different colors like red to yellow, opposite colors based on color wheel. We need to pick, and with the help of that, we can create contrast in the design. Just one color that has usually more contrast, that is, you can see always black and white. These are the opposite colors to each other. We can have always black background with white color, white text. Contrast allows us to emphasize or highlight key elements in your design. These are the different ways through which you can obtain contrast: light to darker, darker to light, or opposite color, contrast in size, smaller to bigger. We can have contrast in placement. You just put all your elements or objects differently. These are the three ways through which we can obtain contrast in the design. This is what about placing and color. Contrast occurs when two elements are different. You can just observe easily all the 6 balloons are in white colors and one is in red or maroon color, we can say. The greater the difference, the greater the contrast. Also, we have just placed differently in the entire design. The key to working with contrast is to make sure the difference are obvious. It should be visible. It's not that just getting mixed to the entire thing. It should appear totally differently in the design. 4 common methods of creating contrast are we discussed about: size, value, color, and type. This is what contrast is. Without contrast, a design piece may appear static, just like boring, you can say, similar, uninteresting, and hard for the reader to access because it is not immediately clear what to look at first. So with the help, also we are just putting the important content or important thing at important places so that it grabs the attention of the viewer. Second element is principle is repetition. Repetition is the repetition of design element. Whatever element you are using, you are just putting again and again so that it looks and it also create a consistency in your design. So whenever it occurs, one or a few visual elements are repeated a number of times with a greater total consistency. That is what repetition is. Just like if you see this PPT template, whatever you have seen, every time you are having the same layout, same logo, same content, and everywhere. The content is just changing, but the background and everything is static, remain constant. So this is what repetition is. Repeating visual elements such as line, color, shape, texture, value, or image tends to unify the total effect of a work of art as well as create rhythm. With the help of repetition, also we create rhythm in the design. Repetition can take the form of an exact duplication, a near publication, or duplication with variety. So how you are going to repeat the content, that you need to decide whether you want to duplicate or just you want to have different variety of repetition. The next principle is space. Space is very important in design. We discussed earlier also. It is also part of element and principles. So in space can be divided into positive. The positive where the object takes the space, that is known as positive space, and just opposite to the area outside the area of that object or element is the negative space of the. So it refers to the area within, around, above or below an object or objects. Both dimensional or three-dimensional works apart. With three-dimensional art, the space things occupy is real as the space around object. It refers to the area that a shape or form occupies. We discussed positive and negative space. Positive space, the space which is occupied by the object, the element, whichever. Suppose there is a picture of a person. So that person picture is the positive space, and around the picture of that person is the negative space, or the blank space. The negative space is the empty space or the open space between design elements and objects, such as background. Next principle is emphasis. We need to highlight the important content in a design. It can be anything, it can be text, it can be picture, it can be graphics, it can be visuals. So emphasis is just to highlight important information by either by just putting different color, bright color, or in bigger size. It can be obtained. The center of focus of attention and interest with their design also referred to as focal point. The feature that commands attention and make a design visually interesting. That is what emphasis is. Emphasis is to make design more interesting, more appealing. An area that dominates the entire design. It looks totally different in your design. It's in bigger in size, it can be brighter, it can be highlight. And this is one of the best example I can say of emphasis. And this is one more picture. You can see in this, if you recognize, there are so many elements, so many objects in the design, but each object has its own emphasis. Everything is clearly visible. So dominates by size, texture, and color. And if you want to have emphasis, the emphasis area of the picture is the handle of the scissors in a cup. So it has same color tone, it has different elements, and still it has emphasis, just a focal point in the entire design. And if you see this example, you can see the entire eye, but the emphasis area is the eye lens with same color tone, different color tone to just give impact, importance. This is how you obtain emphasis in your design. These are the different techniques you group together or just put different colors so that it looks different, entire different in the design. Harmony. Harmony is something which is can be obtained by unity and variety. Harmony which looks similar, it can be achieved through effective use of elements of art and principles of design. The two types of harmony we discussed about unity and variety, that we will see how unity can be obtained, how variety, with the help of variety we can have harmony in the design. So this is one example, best example of unity, which was published by Cezanne, used blues, yellows, greens, and Bayesian electric colors. The piece appeared to work as a whole. If you start from top sky to the mountain, to the ground, to the trees and the surface, everywhere the 2-3 colors are used, and still it has harmony. It has similar tone, similar pace. You can't see there is some important highlighter, but still you don't miss the important thing in the design. This is how unity can be obtained in design. This is one of the best example of unity. Unity is blending elements in a pleasing way, uncomplicated and soothing. Sometimes can see monotonous, and this is one example, another example of unity. Repeating the same elements, you can see the bar of a building. The building has a similar design again and again, just putting together. And variety. Variety, when you see there are lots of elements and still some no elements are dominating the design, and still we are having a emphasis point. and each elements are visible. So you can see this example here. We are having line, we are having straight line, diagonal line, curve line, jagged line, circles, and we are having different colors: red, blue, yellow, green, red, highlight. Lots of colors are there, and still we can see entire thing. So this is the one example which has different varieties, and still it is in harmony. It looks together. Every part is properly placed and attractive. When two or more different elements of design are used to add interest to a design. Variety can be achieved by just combining different styles and materials we have seen here. This is one of the best example of harmony here. Just see the background. You see the color of the cup and the water flashing out from the cup. You can just, everything is noticeable. It's not dominated by anything. And each color has similar pace, similar light, similar tone. So this is how harmony can be achieved by just mixing unity and variety together. In this session, we discussed about different principles of design, different concepts of design that are balance, contrast, hierarchy, alignment, and crossing.